What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another installment of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me, as always, is the little brother Jace. How you doing, bro? Shot?
Doing good. How you doing? I'm sorry, that was Chief's way of doing it. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Coolin'. And Chief, since Jace stole your thunder, you gotta come in with the super excitement. How are you tonight?
How you doing, guys?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. All right, let's start going. We got a lot of stuff to bring up, talk about, and discuss. So let's jump right into it. So yesterday or today, the days run together on me. We got the big reveal that Tales of the Walking Dead, an anthology series featuring new and old characters from the Walking Dead series, will begin 2022 for AMC. I am excited about this because of the potential for dead characters to come back. So we could see possibly an episode where Carl and Glenn and Abraham are on a desperate attempt to get some supplies. We may see an episode where the governor is running his group, his town, with no problems from that pesky Rick and his organization, and maybe the Saviors. We'll see a spotlight on the Saviors where everything's running copacetic and nobody's killing Negan in the middle of the night. Who do you guys want to see in this series? Who do you want to see come back? Who do you want to see profiled? Maybe it's just Herschel and the girls on the farm.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, once The Walking Dead is actually over, I would actually like to see kind of the adventures of Maggie and Herschel, like, on their way when they're after Maggie's like destroyed like 3 or 4 communities, like what they had to do to survive. Like that could be like kind of like what if episode where you get like every now and then flashbacks and shows about what they did to survive. So I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we could see Maggie's crew with Elijah before he started taking the mask off and losing his intimidation factor when he was just coming through like snake eyes and just. And yeah, but she'd be a really good one. We could maybe see her and what's the lady's name? Georgina.
She's got like 5 communities. That she had what 5 years, like 9, and
No,
9 years. We don't know what happened to her, right?
no. She was there because she saw what happened like right around the start of the Whisperer War. Like she left right before then, or she left after the 9 years with Rick, and I think before the
Yeah.
Whisperers came, then she had rolled out.
Oh no, that doesn't make sense because that would mean
This
like,
continuity's all over the place with
yeah,
this
like
shit.
what's his name? Okay, because I was like, Herschel should have been with him, but I thought Herschel was like almost a baby, and she left to go with Georgina. Am I wrong?
I'm pretty sure she saw the end of the Savior War with Negan and crew, and that's when Rick bounced.
Okay, that might have been sense.
And at some point, from maybe she didn't see Rick go, but I felt like she did. Maybe she missed that point. I don't know.
I think she. I don't think she.
Anyway, the point is Maggie has a lot of storylines that she could go to. Chief, how about you? Who do you want to see? Maybe we see some T Dog back before everything went haywire. Maybe he's helping a young Carol where she's still afraid at the sight of a walker rolling with Sophia. I guess we couldn't have Sophia because Sophia is probably like a grown woman now.
So I guess at this point we could just go back just a little ways and maybe see the adventures of Michonne, where she went off to, what she been doing.
Yeah.
You know, that might be interesting. I don't. Yeah, I've always wanted to see the characters when the cities first started to fall. I think that would have been it, because kind of when you see Rick and they go back to the city with the tank, the city's already fallen. Kind of be interesting to see how it happens, like a World War Z thing. Remember in the beginning of it, how they were driving through the city as the chaos started. I think that would be kind of interesting to see that type of thing. Because even in the other one, what's the name of it?
Walking Dead. That's
Yeah,
how The Walking Dead started. That's what seemed like it was going to make it interesting.
Yeah, so
Then everybody started doing that.
right. So I think they left the city too soon. Got on the boat. I think there was plenty of stuff to. What happened?
Oh man, that boat thing was just that killed me. It was like y'all had a foolproof way of surviving in this dead universe. All you have to do is go ashore, maybe every 2 months, pick up some supplies, bounce, get back on the boat. These fools, y'all just leave the boat. Nobody stay on the boat, and clearly the boat's gonna be here when we come back. I'm like, get out of here, man.
Not only that, but then they're telling other boats where they are.
Right.
Here's my location.
Yeah.
I just thought there was plenty of city stories still to tell.
Or the hotel before the Fear the Walking Dead crew came through. Let's shine a beacon. Let every walker know we're here. That Fear the Walking Dead crew did some stupid stuff those first 3 seasons. But it's interesting. I'm looking at a photo back from season 1, and that was, I guess, just 10 years ago. But man, Daryl looks so young. So does Glenn and Maggie. And it's just like, boy, they're gonna have to do some Disney Marvel CGI to get these guys to look as young as they did back then, depending on how far back they go with these old stories. And I'd like to see Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene, because they could throw their old crew before they got whittled down to those 3, before they met up with Rick. And I think those 3 can still look relatively young enough from when they started out that those adventures could be kind of cool. So definitely something I'm interested in seeing. And we will talk about the actual season or the mid-season break later. All right, so Legends of Tomorrow. I know you guys are still devoted watchers of this show. The 100th episode is coming up, and because that's a super special milestone, they decided to bring back the old band. And by most of the old band, I mean we've got Ray back, we've got both members of Firestorm, we've even got Captain Cold, even though we barely called him that on the show. Hawkman is actually going to be here as well. And the guy that got everything started for this team, Rip Hunter, is going to be there. Chief is nodding off. I think he fell asleep at the mention of Legends. And he's like, head down, eyes closed. He's done with Legend talk. So I'm looking at this picture with everybody here, and I'm just like, who are half of these people on this show? Are you going to watch this just to see the old Legends crew reunited and with this team that looks like they're literally going to a work function? They look like they're the stock photos. If you were just grabbing office mates talking at a desk, that's what the Legends cast looks like. There's no one in costume outside of Rip Hunter and his kind of Western look and Hawkman. Hawkman looks severely out of place, as he actually looks like he's actually in a comic book costume.
Shayera coming back?
No, she's not there, which is interesting. Well, apparently, to kind of explain, the cast had to do a rigorous COVID testing, so anyone who showed up had to be quarantined and do all this stuff where they weren't around anybody just for however long they were on this episode. So the gist of this one is Gideon is now a human, and I needed to actually write these names down. Astra and Spooner have to help her remember the Legends. I know you know who Spooner is, but yeah, those are apparently the newer members of the Legends team. I know Astra because she was there 2 years ago, but Spooner is a new character that I have no idea who she is. But I thought it was weird that there's no Heatwave. That was the one I was kind of like, where's Mick? You have Captain Cold, but no Mick, so. And he just left.
No, I think the Legends, after the season 1, they really started. I mean, season 2, I think the Dominators crossover. After that, they just became
They were fighting the Legion of Doom in season 2. Season 2 is still solid.
I'm sorry. It's okay. Whatever they decided, costumes for comic book heroes were just passe. Was just the point where it's like y'all are just dumb. I mean, it's like even bringing John Constantine on really wasn't enough to bring me back because it's like they just found ways to get dumber and sillier. I know, like, on your reviews on LylesMovieFile.com, you do review them and say they're entertaining. But to me, it was never. Once they got out of the comic book part, I stopped having interest in them, except for the crossovers. And then when they hit the point where their rotating cast of anybody who had any semblance of a legend from the first season was over, I was just like, I'm okay that I am not continuing with the show because I don't need another show that I'm only going to be mildly entertained on every week. So I just cut it and I don't look back. And even for the 100th, I'm still probably going to be like, no, I'm good. Especially because John Constantine has to be a new character because HBO Max says reasons.
I hate how Warner does everything because they just do dumb stuff. Like with this episode 2 weeks ago on Stargirl, or I guess last week, I'm almost caught up. I just didn't watch last night's episode. But they had the JSA, and we can't have Hawkman, we can't have Dr. Fate, two pivotal members of the team just because they're going to be in the Black Adam movie. And it's like, who is over there making these bonehead decisions of who can be on what because it's confusing to people? It's like, we get it. There's a multiverse. Why don't y'all understand that we can comprehend? We're in the comic books and we understand that DC has multiple worlds and it's okay. We don't have to go, hey, look, there's Barry Allen played by Grant Gustin. Oh, there's Barry Allen played by Ezra Miller. That's okay. But we're too confused and too dumb to figure that out widespread.
It's like they play by those rules when they want to and when they don't. Because it's just like, it's like, hey, you've already had a Hawkman, so you're bringing back a Hawkman. So why is that not confusing to have a separate Earth that has another Hawkman? Huh. You've already shown pictures of him, so you just need to cast a dude and put him in a costume, which could conceivably be the same dude who was Hawkman originally.
Look, Hawkman gets reincarnated and killed all the time. You don't even have to make it that confusing. He could just be the white guy version from the 40s who gets killed. I'm sorry, I don't even know when JSA and Stargirl takes place. I'm not hating on Stargirl because I really love what they've done this season. That was just one of those deals where it's like, yeah, man, I want to see more than 4 members of the JSA at a time. I think that was the crux of my.
Yeah, I was intrigued by you said like the rigorous COVID testing. I'm like, now was that the reason they only had 4 members of the JSA? Because it was like we're only going to have one scene with these guys, so let's just go with 4 guys to keep the numbers down.
I would like to see more. That's just me. But they did have John Wesley Shipp as the Flash. I thought that was cool. Anytime you can work him in as the Flash from any era, I'm down with it. Hey, Chief, are you going to watch this Legends 100th episode?
No. I don't think I've ever watched an episode of Legends. What? Not one. Not the first Legend, the 25th, the 50th, the 75th. And now we're here at the 100th. I didn't even know there was 100 episodes of Legends still in there.
I will say Legends is the most consistent of all of the Arrowverse shows. After they decided we don't need to take the show seriously anymore, let's make it more of a comedy. It's been solid. It's not a superhero show, and I think they were fine as long as there were enough recognizable characters. I think they made a bad call when they let Ray go. Because it was like, well, what are y'all doing now? And it's just a bunch of random characters kind of thrown together. I haven't watched the last season to vouch for its quality, but before then, it had been fun, funny, and entertaining. So if you have like a random moment where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to give this thing a shot. It's not terrible, and it's definitely better than the last season of Flash, Supergirl, basically in general, and yeah. These last
funny thing is
picking the cheese out of your toes is better than Supergirl. You know what I mean? Let's just
more productive.
You know what I mean? What beats Supergirl? You know what I mean? Toe cheese picking. I mean, and even in your description of Legend, it didn't sound very advertising. So yeah, in the Flash, I didn't watch a single episode of the Flash this year.
That was
So
the right call, Chief.
I haven't watched Supergirl. I haven't watched Flash. I'm not a Legends guy. I didn't see Black Lightning this year. I think I just kind of, I don't know if I'm super personed out or the writers have just, and the bad part is Stargirl was good last year. I wanted to
good this season.
Catch up on it this year, and I haven't. I mean, I guess I gotta go to Apple TV or whatever and see if I can, stream it. I did watch Kung Fu this year, and a couple other new TV things that came on, but none of our familiars from 2020 and before. I was out. I was tuckered out, man. And I think that your man, what's his name, Francisco? He left the show, and I didn't even I've never saw an episode without him on the show, and I don't even know if he's missed. What was his powers? What was blurred? What was his thing?
His powers were guilt for having powers, so he decided to lose them, but then use an artificial way of creating the same powers he was so terrified of using.
Yeah, and then this whole Frost split two. It just got crazy, man.
Flash was awful. I was reviewing the season in general, and it was really bad. Like there's
like a hysterical person that you can't slap. You know what I mean? You just kind of want to shake them and then calm down. And you can't do that. You can't do that with Flash. So you got to suffer through that thing. The whole episode is just wild. And I just got through that. You know what I mean? So I tapped out, man. I tapped out, and I'm better for it.
I think so. I would definitely recommend watching Stargirl. It has been really good. Like, if you like the first season, I think this one has been better. Not that I thought season 1 was bad by any means. I just think that they're not insulting me as I watch it. When things happen from episode to episode, I'm like, that makes sense. Okay, that's pretty smart. I don't feel myself going, this is so stupid, but I'll keep watching it because I like the characters, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, this is good. I'm on it. So, yeah. Watch Stargirl. Superman and Lois is solid, too.
Well,
Superman and Lois is solid.
Stargirl is continued with the CW verse, Arrowverse trend. First season's good, second season's better. It's the third that we always kind of, all right, how's this going to be? Black Lightning had the weirder trend. It was like the first season was good, the second season was questionable, and that might have been why it didn't even get to 100 episodes, which I still find kind of interesting, the fact that Legends got to 100 and Black Lightning was not able to.
Black Lightning was a really pro-black show. Legends is a check your brain in the door show. So I understand just from the general population, general viewing audience, why Legends would keep cranking out versus Black Lightning. Black Lightning needed the CB4 I'm Black Y'all soundtrack running through every episode, basically.
It did.
In addition to
and I'm black and I'm black and I'm black.
Yeah, exactly. It was unapologetically black. So if you're down, it's like, yes, this is my show. If you're not, it's like, all right, cool. Let's ease up on the black y'all. So yeah, that's Legends. And so we've got some exciting news from the ones that actually understand how to build a universe and keep cranking out great stuff. Disney Plus is now rumored to be doing a Disney Plus series of Monica Rambeau, aka Captain Marvel 2, aka Photon, aka Spectrum, etc. So this is very exciting to me because Captain Marvel 2, I'm not going to bother with all these other code names she's had over the years. She's a great character. A member of the Avengers during Secret Wars, so she had a really strong profile in a featured Marvel event, and she's just a great character. Tiana Paris knocked her out in WandaVision. She's going to be in The Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2, the movie. I can't wait to see what they do with her. And I'm loving the idea of how Disney Plus is focusing on minority characters for their shows. We're getting some really quality shows. Captain the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Got Armor Wars. We got Miss Marvel coming. There's so much stuff featuring characters that wouldn't get a profile in a movie. Echo's another one. We're getting Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac. So it's just a ton of great stuff coming. I am excited about this. There's also going to be potentially a 10 Rings spinoff from Shang-Chi. And so I assume that's going to feature and focus on his sister. That's another cool way for them to go. And it'll be interesting if they just take the villain route where they're just a bad guy group. And maybe we have some random street level heroes fighting them, which could be potentially really great. Or they're just like a down the middle group where sometimes they're good, sometimes they do bad stuff. What do you guys think about this? And also, we are getting Agatha spinoff as well. Chief, what do you think about all this Disney Plus news? And are you still down for what they're doing?
This you can't lose, man. It's almost like knowing the numbers to the lottery when you play it. You know, you hit every time, baby. You know, the numbers are 4, 22, 18. You know what I mean? You're just looking at your ticket like, that's my ticket. you know. You know, they got She-Hulk coming out, right?
Right. I forgot that. Yeah.
You know, and that's one I'm really looking forward to. Disney Plus is just, listen. Some of these things that you sign on to, like, for example, Shutter's going up. They keep sending me text messages that we're going up in our price. I don't look at Shutter that often. You know, they got some, but you know, sometimes you go to it when you want some horror. I wouldn't say it's worth almost $60 a year. Netflix, you know, you got some good things. You know, some decent things on Netflix. But again, Netflix isn't worth the price of it every year. But you know, it's not a bad subscription service. You go to Hulu, it all depends on what you're into, live TV, yada yada. Like I got Hulu because I watched like The Rookie and certain things on it, and I think it's got the Demon Slayer anime. By the way, season 2 just came out on that. But Disney is the only app that I feel has given me more than what I've paid into it. You know what I mean? Like where I'm like, yo, if this shit was $75 a year, it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus, you know, whatever. I don't know. It was like $50 a year or something at one point.
That's what it started. I think if you got in early, you could get it for $50 for the first 3 years, which was a killer deal.
Right. So it was something real cheap, and they've over, you know, like if it was a player, it's Aaron Donald. You know what I mean? He's
on the rookie contract.
Yeah, he's outplayed his contract.
Yeah.
So, and that's how Disney gives you the content. They are actually outplaying that contract. You know what I mean? And if they went up on the price, you couldn't be like, well, nah, hell nah. This is, you know, you're like, you know what? You're like, yeah.
We gotta pay them.
They give you enough content where you like, okay, listen. I saw Luke Skywalker earlier this year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Here's my money.
Yeah. Here's my money. Take my money. Right. You know what I mean? Please. And no other app, no other streaming service gives me that feeling. You know, I like Prime for its movies, and you know, you can come in, you can watch movies early. You know, you gotta pay for them, but you can watch certain stuff that's in the theaters, or you get it early or whatever. That's you know, that's kind of a benefit for that. But Disney, that original content all the time, it's like, yo, you've outperformed what I've hoped you would do. I mean, and let's flip that, because DC underperformed. Like if you can look back on DC now, you wouldn't have gave them $1. Like your content wasn't worth $1. And here's why. Because at one point, everything you were watching on DC, you could see on CW. So what was the point?
What
remember
was the point of me paying that? Right.
They had original content. It just got farmed out later, and it was like, well, that's not very exclusive.
That's not exclusive.
Well, Young Justice was the only thing they actually had exclusive until it actually ended.
But I mean, Young Justice. I mean, you gonna hang your hat on Young Justice for?
I would have before I watched season 3. Like season 3 was okay, but I felt like if I'm paying money into your streaming service, I need y'all to have more black voice actors than Carrie Payton.
Well, I'm just saying, but you would have paid $50 a year for Young Justice?
No, I'm saying that when Young Justice season 2 ended and it was just like it's done, and I was like, this sucks. The opportunity to see another season of Young Justice at the same quality of season 1 and 2, yes, I'd have felt like that was worth it. I would have paid, because that would be basically the Blu-ray season, give or take $20. And I figure if they had anything else worth anything, that would have been worth the subscription price. But they had a terrible rollout. Young Justice, I just feel like they needed more voice actors. I liked the season enough. I thought some of their attempts at diversity were a little whack. Just, hey, let's introduce more characters, please.
Adding the other factor it was like the art went down from
season. Right. It was like, here's pictures.
It was, if you looked at that art, it was just like, you guys farmed this out to the wrong team. It was like, you guys could hire any anime studio to make it better, especially for us paying for it versus being on Comedy Central. Like, I expected better.
That was on Comedy Central?
I'm saying I'm not Cartoon Network.
Right, okay.
I expected better. And they didn't provide that, and I was a little annoyed at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right.
So Will Poulter made a lot of news this week because he was announced by James Gunn as being Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. For those of you who have no idea who Adam Warlock is, before the movies, Dan Abnett and Andy Landing created this really exceptional version of Guardians of the Galaxy. And they had so many more characters than the 5 that we've seen in the movie. They included Mantis in Volume 2. But she was a core member of the team. And they kind of worked in concert with Nova. Adam Warlock was a main key member. He had been around for a long time in the Marvel Universe. They put him onto the team, and he was a great character. They did exceptional stuff with him. I'm really excited to see what they do with Adam Warlock in this. Do you guys care about another member of the great team of Guardians of the Galaxy actually showing up in the movie?
I'm actually interested, like, because how they were about to. When the end of Guardians 2, when we actually saw the cradle for Adam Warlock, it was like, oh wow, this is. He's got. For what was the race that he was from, Jeff?
They created him. I don't remember the actual race. You're going too far in my non-Wikipedia right at my fingertips. He was created as the perfect man in Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's Fantastic Four. That's where he showed up, of course, because they were creating an entire universe in Fantastic Four, and it was just amazing what they were doing.
To look at that, get on to the side how DC can actually create characters that last now. To see how Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created basically 2 comic book empires, and that stood the test of time. This is another commendable thing for them to to have another. To have an actual character, potential bad guy. I think that. I think that could be really cool because Adam Warlock should be almost like super OP. And to have him actually be somebody like the Guardians can't just easily take out in 5 seconds, and they still got to figure out where Gamora is going. So I think, we have a decent movie. Not even mention the fact we got Thor running around with him. So I think we're in for a good movie.
I don't know. I think Thor may be not that big a deal. I think the Guardians connection with him is going to end with Thor: Love and Thunder, but hopefully he shows up.
Okay.
Yeah, Chief, do you care? You excited about another team member showing up on this group?
I like the team as it was. I mean, I didn't. Well, and what I'm saying is this: I'm not saying Adam Warlock shouldn't be added or not added or anything like that. I thought they were hilarious the way they are. If they bring another guy and he fits, that's fine. As long as they're bringing back Batista as Drac.
The whole crew's gonna do that.
That dude has to be crying every damn time, yo. When he was eating those chips, and he, yo, so right. He's like, I'm moving so slow you cannot see me. Man, listen, that dude is, he's hilarious as Drac. So yeah, and I think that they have a good chemistry with each other. You know what I mean? Like you could actually see like they probably have a lot of fun doing the movies together.
Yeah.
So whereas and I hope that this guy he adds to that chemistry.
Will Poulter was the son, quote unquote, and we're the Millers. So he has
okay
comedic chops. He can do that. So depending on how to play the character, he'll be great.
Now.
Yeah.
With the spider.
Right.
Yeah, funny guy.
Yeah, very funny. So I assume they're gonna tweak his comic book origins character a little bit, but I'm sure he'll fit in fine, and I think that will be another great casting addition to the Guardians universe. One person we will not be seeing doing any superhero films, at least for a while, is Timothee Chalamet. His hero, who he declined to identify, said, "Don't do drugs and don't do superhero roles." I am very curious who that hero is, his inspiration, who told him not to do this. Because at this point, if you're not doing a superhero movie, you're missing out on a big payday, even if it's retroactive like Scarlett Johansson. And it's just, there's so many Academy Award winners. I mean, you just look at the roster of people who have won Best Actor, Best Actress, who've done superhero films. Heath Ledger won an Oscar for a comic book film. Ben Affleck, Anthony Hopkins, Angelina Jolie. Do I want to say Halle Berry? Because her superhero movie sucked. Really awful, really terrible. But there are Josh Brolin. I mean, then there are the nominees. There's so many quality actors who've done superhero movies to go with the early 2000 mindset of, a superhero movie? I can't do that. That would kill my career. It seems kind of stupid. What do you guys think?
That seems very old school. I mean, like your hero might have said it, but your hero's wrong. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people will say, "Hey, I get that residual check in there," and get to the point. I mean, also remember the point. Scarlett Johansson was complaining that her $12 million check up front wasn't enough. I'm pretty sure I could get over being the lead in a superhero movie if they're putting $12 million and then I get more money out of the box office. I don't know if Dune is going to get you that. I don't know if that's going to be a jump off point for big picture movies, but superhero movies and a Fast and Furious movie, those are the easiest way to get a paycheck. So I'd never say turn down those roles at all.
And even just if you're looking at it from a artist integrity thing, they're really good comic book movies that aren't just smash and bash kind of stuff. We have Oscar-winning directors, Oscar-nominated directors who are working behind the scenes, writing comic book movies. So it's not like, oh man, my career is going to be tarnished forever if I do this. Chief, what do you think?
I think these people, because they remember the old Batman, Adam West. You know what I mean? It's at this point, man, everybody who's done a superhero movie at this point has gone on to do other things. Like, when you're not even... It's... Being a superhero is not even something you're pigeonholed into doing anymore. First of all, if you're the star of a movie, you get anywhere between a 3 and 5 picture film where you're the star of that. I mean, but if we go back and we just go to, let's just go back to when the Batman's first came out. It was
Michael Keaton,
Val Kilmer, who you got Christian Bale.
Yeah.
We go to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Hugh Jackman made his career off of doing comic book movies.
Right. So none of these people have been, this hasn't ruined anybody's career. None of these people have gone on and said, "Oh, well, you can't play anything else." Actually, it's enhanced. It's given them more. People see more of them. And Henry Cavill, who did the Superman, he's done like 20 movies since Superman now. He's on Netflix. He's doing Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. He's everywhere. Right. So, for somebody to just say you don't want to do a comic book movie, but don't say that. You know what I mean? Because even my man who does Loki, like, was it Tom Middleton or something like that?
Tom Middleton.
So he, nobody's trapped in these roles.
Yeah.
And let's just imagine the money you bring home makes you feel better about everything. You know what I mean? So that it's just nonsense. It's just somebody saying something to say it instead of just saying, "Hey, I don't want to do a comic book movie," which is okay. You could just say that.
Right.
Hey, listen, I'm not interested in doing a Marvel movie or DC movie. But don't say that. Don't spread that. You know what I mean? But what are you gonna do? You're gonna have people who are gonna say that. I don't want to be this guy forever. You're nobody now, probably.
All right. So here's another actor who turned down a big role, and I'm curious what you guys think about this because I feel like we all dodged a bullet on this one. So Madonna said that she actually did turn down the role of Catwoman in Batman Returns. So instead of Michelle Pfeiffer, we could have had Madonna in that stitched up black leather outfit. Do you guys think we worked out okay not having Madonna instead of Michelle Pfeiffer?
Tomato? You know what I mean? Would it mattered? I don't know if it would have mattered.
I don't think Madonna could act anywhere close to Michelle Pfeiffer. She could have pulled off the sultry, seductive aspect, but I don't think she could have played the harassed secretary who was demure and mousy. I don't think she could have done that at all. So when she became Catwoman, it would have felt like this. Whatever.
Donna was fantastic in Dick Tracy.
See, if that's your frame of reference, that's a problem.
I was going to think he was going to say Desperately Seeking Susan or something.
Dick Tracy, baby.
I need to rewatch that movie because I feel like the costumes and colors were great, but I don't know if that movie's any good. I need to rewatch it.
The colors would be popping on that movie in 4K.
Absolutely.
It was a real colorful movie. That's what I remember about it. Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. No, not that one.
Hero.
That one, and then there was a movie with Jet Li where he was trying to get to the Emperor. And I remember that movie being real colorful.
Hero.
Yeah, Hero. I hear you. I'm just saying, I just remember that movie being real colorful.
Oh, it was. Very much so. Jace, you don't think it mattered either? You and Chief?
I think you did because... So, going back almost to the last previous segment, it's like Michelle Pfeiffer was an Academy Award nominee, and she can act. It's just in Madonna. Just remembering her role from was it I Another Day? Yeah, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking we pulled a Neo on that one.
Yeah, she had a cameo, and it was still like, ugh.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I say that. Because Michelle Pfeiffer wasn't... She was acting, but she was more... It was more of a... she was over kind of... You know how they do... Like, back then in those Batman movies, they were kind of campy in a sense. And so like if you're saying replace Madonna, replace Michelle Pfeiffer with Madonna and What Lies Beneath, hell no. But right, we're saying no to
I think
this.
Madonna
But
could have even done it in a campy sense because I feel like she could not have done any of that. Like I can't imagine her having any chemistry with Michael Keaton. I just and playing off Christopher Walken. I just think she would have been really lame.
I don't know, because I mean, if you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody freeze.
Listen,
Freeze.
you can't reference the worst Batman movie.
But that's how they were to me. That's how those Batman before Christian Bale got into.
Oh, wow.
Listen, you need to just rewatch the Tim Burton movies. Those were good, and they still hold up as being their unique entry into Batman.
I'm not
stuff. They
saying
got
the
terrible
movies were
with
terrible.
Batman Forever.
I'm just saying that they didn't have a serious tone to them
True.
till then. They were all kind of just a little, like a step above the '60s. They weren't that foolish.
They were,
but they were still
off of the '60s, and then Nolan
right.
took it to.
And that's what I'm saying.
Level.
They had an aspect of silliness to them where I think she could have, just pulled off a, rolling with silliness, meow, whatever. But
I'm gonna keep that soundbite of you meowing. I'm just gonna play that
That's
random
cool.
voice, Chief. All right,
that's cool.
okay. All right, so that's cool. You're okay with it. All right, so we watched the trailer, Scream's 5th entry, which is not Scream 5, but it's Scream. It's got pretty much all the surviving characters. Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette. They're back. There's a whole new slew of victims, new kids to get killed by Ghostface. And I kind of like that trailer, how whoever Ghostface is was messing with the app with the door locks. I was like, now that's clever. And I feel like Scream 4 is kind of underrated because people were like, why is Scream coming back? But Scream 4 was actually pretty much right on the cusp of the whole influencer, celebrity seeking mentality. And I think now it's probably holds up even better than it did when it originally aired. I think Scream 5 is going to be on that same trajectory even as we get to it. What you guys think of the trailer?
I mean, it's funny, like you talk about Scream 4 being underrated. I'm like, it's like, if you, I thought it was perfect. It really was like, once you see who the killer is, you're like, oh, this makes so much sense. It's like, it's like, and then just even the trailer, you're like seeing the dude like freak about like, this isn't Billy Loomis, one dude in front, he's messing with your apps and your watch. He's like, oh gosh, and then the dude's actually in the house already. That's the kind of stuff. It's like, oh, okay, this is good. And the fact that they're able to get all of the original cast, survive part 3, 4. Always, I think all of the members of Scream are smart. It's like, hey, y'all are calling with a paycheck? I'm down.
Yeah.
Even if we're going to release this thing in January, which typically kind of to scare the rest of us, it may not be good. But most of us who actually enjoyed I think anybody who saw Scream 4 enjoyed it. So I'm thinking we'll come back for Scream 5. And with the trailer, like, okay, I'm down.
Yeah. I kind of feel like you, where it's like, man, this is the 5th installment. Do we need to have the same 3? But it's kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. It's not really a Halloween unless she's in it. So I'm perfectly fine seeing Dewey and Sydney and Gail chilling, hopefully surviving for whenever we get around to Scream 6. Chief, what'd you think?
I think that they called or snuck onto the set of Halloween, saw that they were bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, decided to bring back her. It's the scene reminded me of the original one, kind of with Drew Barrymore. None of these. I think you have to be into the franchise, and I get these Hostels, the Saw, Halloween, Scream. I think you just have to Jason. You just gotta like that movie, because basically you're just paying to see that movie over and over again. I mean, that's basically what it is. So, is Scream going to bring any exciting new moments except for a couple of jump scares? Probably not. But if you like the franchise, then you'll like Scream. Like, you know what I mean? If you like Haagen-Dazs, vanilla, you eat Haagen-Dazs vanilla, It's what you expect when you go down and open up the freezer. Ah, there it is. You know what I mean? It's always waiting for you, and it's always delicious if you enjoy it. And I feel like this is how these franchises are. I've seen every Hostel, and pretty much they were all the same in a sense. I saw all the Saws, pretty much, and I've seen all these other movies, and I'm saying, hey, it's the same kind of movie. But if you like that type of movie, we'll go and see it. I mean, and I think this is like, you guys enjoy Scream, true. You've seen Scream 4. I think I popped out after 2. Yeah. But not because I don't like them. It's just because I felt like I was just going to see the same damn thing over again. So, and then, but hey, I appreciate the fact that you are you like the franchise. You got to keep it going. Maybe there'll be a Scream 32 around the time we pop out.
Maybe so.
And you guys will be in your 80s or 90s going to see it.
Yes, in my hover wheelchair. All right.
Yes, sir.
So it's that magical time of the week. Jace, I'm going to let you start. Who's your nominee for Dummy of the Week?
Well, folks, my Dummy of the Week is Mr. John Gruden. I don't know that email can actually be retrieved after a couple of years. The fact that he decided he and Bruce Allen, be trading around, pictures of cheerleaders and, basically coming up with all the stuff you were not supposed to say and then typing it out in real letters. Not, there's no emojis. There's no, we can't see. It's every word typed out and just like, you really said that in an email? Like, I'm pretty sure I was in school and they had training. Like, here's what not to say in an email. And in fact, it's like years later, he's typing all the words out, no abbreviations, he meant to say, no, he said explicitly, this thing is so stupid, I should never say in an email. And you should actually not feel that way. It's like, it's even worse. It's like, oh, I don't have a racist bone in my body. Your emails tell you a whole different story. It's like, I didn't mean to.
I also have a homophobic and a misogynistic. I've got all kinds of bones in my body. And
there's some extra bones in here. I got some new ones you ain't figured out what they called yet. I mean, and just and like somebody he's like a cheerleader, and she was like, man, this is again about the Washington football team. There's other dudes that they were passing this email. There's some other guys CC'd on this. And now it's like, none of them are stupid enough. They're all like, oh, please just don't reveal us and we'll be good.
That's what I'm wondering, how long Gruden was up at night after he got that Raiders job, just hoping, okay, he checks his phone every day. It has his name in a Google search and a Google News alert. Okay, nobody found email.
He lost.
Whew, okay.
I mean, like, it's like, and even like on what was it, on Friday when the story broke, it's like, I'm thinking at that point, it's resign time. Like, don't go to the game because it is going to get worse. Like, just search your email, like inbox, Google. Oh gosh, I said that. Yeah, I gotta resign for personal reasons. Yeah, I gotta get out. I gotta get ahead of this story.
I've got COVID or something. Get some cheap sympathy. He was just like, man, the Bucks have like removed him from the Ring of Honor. Like, beat it, Chief. I know you had some thoughts on this too.
You always can tell when someone has never had a real job. You know what I mean? Like, done any real work in their lifetime. First of all, anyone who's ever done anything knows not to send anything over the company email. You never do anything on company email. You don't send company to company. You don't send private to company. You don't do anything. If I'm going to say something that I shouldn't say, well, first of all, I'm not going to say it on the email. But if I gotta say it, I'm sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble. But it's going to come from my personal email to that person's email. so that if it gets found out, I know who to punch in the mouth. I'm not surprised. I'm not even mad at Gruden. Like, it's not even one of those things where I'm like, Gruden, you bastard. I'm just like, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, that's expected. I expect that.
Okay. My nominee is not DaBaby, but Fat Joe. He was trending because he said DaBaby is this generation's Tupac. That is incorrect, and it's an outright lie. I've heard exactly one DaBaby song, and I can tell you he is no Tupac. So, and he has tattoos, and he frequently raps without a shirt, and he wears his hat to the back. I think that's about where the similarities end for me. So, yeah, for that reason, Fat Joe, you, sir, are my absolute dummy of the week. All right, well, fellas, thank you as always for rolling with me. Thank you all out there for listening. This episode of Lyles Movie Files has been filed.